Welcome back to Successful Genius Mind. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Today's English reading test is all about the psychology of success and how we handle setbacks. Grab a pen, focus your attention, and get ready to level up your mind and life. Let's prep our vocabulary. First, perception. This is the way in which something is regarded, understood, or interpreted. How you perceive a problem changes how you handle it. Example: when the new software crashed, John's perception was that his business had failed, prompting him to quit entirely. In contrast, Sarah's perception was that the crash was simply a helpful data point, allowing her to fix the bug and successfully relaunch. Second, incompetence. This means an inability to do something successfully. It's a harsh word for lacking skill. Example: under the traditional corporate model, the manager viewed the buggy software launch as a glaring sign of incompetence, choosing to fire the team rather than letting them fix the mistakes. Third, resilient. A fantastic adjective that means able to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions. Example: despite her first app launch crashing completely, the resilient entrepreneur quickly recovered from the setback and used the negative feedback to build a stronger, successful version. Fourth, detachment. The state of being objective. The ability to separate your personal emotions, ego, or self-worth from a situation or outcome. Example: to handle criticism like a professional, you must practice emotional detachment from your work. Fifth, iterate. This is to perform or do something repeatedly. In modern business and tech, it means making continuous, rapid improvements to a product or process based on direct feedback. Example: the software company's strategy is to launch a basic app and then iterate quickly based on what the users complain about. Sixth, flawed. Having a blemish, defect, or imperfection, containing a fundamental error in logic or execution. Example: the idea was brilliant, but the execution was highly flawed and resulted in a broken product. You have 3 minutes for deep reading. Begin now. In traditional education systems and old corporate models, the perception of failure was entirely negative. Making a mistake on a test or launching a product that didn't sell was viewed as a definitive end. It was seen as a glaring sign of incompetence, something to be hidden or punished. However, in modern psychology and entrepreneurial spaces, the perception of failure is undergoing a radical shift. High achievers do not view mistakes as the end of the road. Instead, they reframe failure as a vital, neutral data point. When a scientific experiment fails, the scientist doesn't cry. They simply record that those specific variables do not produce the desired outcome. Every time a strategy does not work, it provides highly valuable feedback on what exactly needs to be adjusted for the next attempt. The most significant obstacle to reframing failure is the human ego. When we make a mistake, our biological and social instinct is to feel embarrassed, defensive, or ashamed. This happens because we mistakenly attach our personal identity and self-worth to the final outcome. Overcoming this emotional reaction requires intentional psychological detachment. High achievers learn to separate who they are from what they produced. They understand that a failed project does not mean they are a failure as a human being. It simply means that specific execution or strategy was flawed. In modern technology companies and startup cultures, this psychological detachment has evolved into a highly effective methodology known as failing fast. Instead of spending years attempting to perfect a product in absolute secret, developers release an early, imperfect version to the public. They do not hope it is flawless. They actively expect it to have bugs and flaws. By gathering immediate criticism and failing quickly on a very small scale, they can iterate. This continuous cycle of rapid, minor adjustments turns failure from a catastrophic event into a high-speed engine for innovation. This highly resilient approach is often referred to as a growth mindset. Individuals with a growth mindset understand that their intelligence and abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Because they don't attach their self-worth to immediate perfection, they are free to take calculated risks without the paralyzing fear of looking foolish. They test, they fail, they learn, and they iterate. In this modern framework, failing isn't the opposite of success. It is a stepping stone to it. Ultimately, the only true failure is the refusal to analyze the data and try again.
Time is up. Let's test your comprehension. Question 1. How do scientists and high achievers view a failed experiment or strategy? A. As a glaring sign of their own incompetence. B. As a reason to hide their work from others. C. As a vital, neutral data point that provides feedback. D. As the opposite of success. The correct answer is C. The passage specifically uses the metaphor of a scientist. They don't cry over a failed experiment. They treat it as a vital, neutral data point. Options A and D represent the old, traditional perception of failure that the text is arguing against. Question 2. According to the text, why are individuals with a growth mindset able to take calculated risks? A. Because they never make mistakes. B. Because they do not attach their self-worth to immediate perfection. C. Because they ignore all negative feedback. D. Because traditional education systems reward them. The answer is B. If we look at the third paragraph, it explains that these individuals don't have a paralyzing fear of looking foolish, precisely because their self-worth isn't tied to being perfectly right on the first try. They know their abilities will develop through the process. Third question. What is the main conclusion the author reaches about true failure? A. True failure is launching a product that doesn't sell. B. True failure is making a mistake on an important test. C. True failure is looking foolish in front of your peers. D. True failure is giving up and refusing to try again. The correct answer is D. The very last sentence of the passage summarizes the entire philosophy. Ultimately, the only true failure is the refusal to analyze the data and try again. Every other option is just a temporary setback. Moving right along to question 4. How did traditional education systems and old corporate models typically react to failure, according to the text? A. They rewarded it as a sign of high intelligence. B. They viewed it as a neutral data point to study. C. They saw it as a definitive end and a sign of incompetence. D. They used it to take calculated risks. The correct answer is C. The first paragraph specifically describes the old perception of failure as entirely negative, calling it a definitive end and a glaring sign of incompetence, something to be hidden or punished. Final question 5 introduces a very popular business concept. You have 30 seconds. What is the primary goal of the failing fast methodology used by modern tech companies? A, to bankrupt the company as quickly as possible. B, to spend years perfecting a product in secret before anyone sees it. C, to release an early version, gather immediate criticism, and make rapid improvements. D, to punish developers who make mistakes in their code. The correct answer is C. Tech companies actually expect their early products to be flawed. By failing fast on a small scale, they can get immediate feedback and iterate, which the author calls a high-speed engine for innovation. Before you go, I want to challenge your reflection. What is a recent failure or mistake you made that actually taught you a highly valuable lesson? Reframe it right now. Share your story in the comments below to inspire our community. Add up your scores. If you got any wrong today, remember, it's just a data point to help you study better tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and keep pushing your limits.